Have you ever wondered if a single small piece of silver sitting quietly in someone's drawer could actually hold the power to change lives forever? What if I told you that right now, across America, hidden inside old boxes, forgotten piggy banks, and dusty coin collections, there are treasures waiting to be discovered that are worth more than a luxury mansion, more than a vault full of gold, and more than most people will earn in their entire lifetime. Welcome to Secret of Us Coins, the place where the ordinary turns into extraordinary, where small dimes, pennies, and nickels transform into keys, unlocking fortunes that could make you speechless. Today's journey will take us deep inside the mystery of the Mercury dime, one of America's most beloved coins, but also one of the most shocking treasure pieces ever minted. And today, my friends, I am about to reveal the top 5 ultra-rare and most valuable Mercury dimes that are taking the auction market by storm. Coins so rare, so powerful in value, and so demanded by collectors that holding even one of them is like holding lightning in your hand. Dangerous, electrifying, and worth more than most people dare to imagine. So, buckle up, because what you're about to hear isn't just a history lesson, it's a treasure hunt, a revelation, a countdown to wealth hidden in plain sight. And I promise you by the end of this video, you will never look at a dime the same way again. Coin number 1. The first coin on today's list is no ordinary dime. This is the 1934 Mercury dime with the Denver mint mark, and its story begins in a time of struggle, recovery, and resilience. Imagine the year 1934. America was crawling out of the depths of the Great Depression. People were desperate, industries were rebuilding, and money in the hands of citizens meant survival. During this time, the U.S. Mint in Denver struck a limited number of dimes bearing the iconic design of the winged Liberty head, what we lovingly call the Mercury dime. Designed by the legendary sculptor Adolph A. Weinman, this coin's obverse features the young Liberty wearing a winged cap, a powerful symbol of freedom of thought. The reverse carries an image of a fascist bundled rods with an axe representing unity and strength, wrapped with an olive branch symbolizing peace. Every detail of this coin speaks of America's resilience, its fight to recover, and its promise for a stronger future. But here's where the magic begins. Not every coin from that year survived. Many were lost to circulation, worn down, or melted for their silver. Only a tiny fraction remains in collectible condition, and among them, those with the small D mint mark from Denver hold a place of ultra-high rarity. Collectors know instantly that the 1934 with D Mercury dime is not just another coin, it's a treasure beacon. Its unique charm lies in its survival. In very fine condition, such as the one we are talking about today, its surfaces still carry crisp details, bold legends, and that iconic design that takes your breath away the moment you see it. The rarity of this coin drives collectors into fierce battles at auctions. They know that a 1934 with D Mercury dime in excellent preservation is like striking oil. It's the kind of find that doesn't just sit in your collection. It becomes the crown jewel. The demand is relentless, and the value climbs higher every year, creating an atmosphere of pure adrenaline when one of these surfaces on the market. Now let's talk about what everyone is waiting for: the current market value. My friends, brace yourselves, because this coin is not just worth thousands, it is worth a staggering treasure chest of wealth. The 1934 with D Mercury dime, in very fine condition, is currently valued at $123,000. Yes, 123,000 US dollars. And I am not exaggerating when I say this price is 100% current in today's auction market. This is not fiction. This is reality. This little silver coin can instantly turn someone into the owner of a fortune, a life-changing amount of money, a treasure in every sense of the word. Think about it. A dime that once bought a loaf of bread can now buy you a dream life. And its price is not stagnant. It is increasing day by day. Collectors know that the value of this coin is a rising wave, and those who own it today are sitting on a treasure that tomorrow will be worth even more. This is the definition of wealth that grows in your pocket. For collectors, the 1934 with D Mercury dime is not just a coin, it's a promise. A promise of future value, a promise of prestige, and a promise that your collection holds something that others can only dream of. If you are a collector, my tip to you is this: always verify authenticity, always protect condition, and never underestimate the power of rarity. When a coin like this lands in your hands, you don't just hold silver, you hold history, you hold treasure, you hold destiny. And that is why the year 1934, with D Mercury dime, has earned its place in our countdown of the top 5 ultra-rare Mercury dimes. It's more than money, it's more than a collectible. It's proof that sometimes the smallest things in life carry the heaviest weight of fortune. Coin number 2. As we move deeper into the hidden vaults of America's rarest treasures, our journey takes us to a year that tested the endurance of a nation, the year 1920. The world had just emerged from the devastation of the First World War. Soldiers had returned home, industries were shifting, and America was stepping into a new era of hope, but also uncertainty. In that same year at the San Francisco Mint, a masterpiece of silver was struck, a coin that today is more than just money. It is an artifact of resilience, survival, and untold fortune. This coin is the 1920 Mercury dime, with the S mint mark, proudly minted on the western coast of the United States. At first glance, it appears to be just another dime, but look closer and you will see why collectors chase it with unstoppable determination. The obverse still carries the graceful image designed by Adolph A. Weinman, liberty wearing a winged cap, a timeless symbol of free thought and human spirit soaring beyond limits. On the reverse, the face is wrapped with an olive branch, declaring both unity and peace, a message that was desperately needed in the aftermath of war. But here's the twist. The San Francisco Mint in 1920 had limited production compared to other mints, and what makes this dime especially electrifying is how few of them survived in fine condition. Most of these coins were heavily circulated. They bought bread, paid for rides, passed from hand to hand during a decade of roaring change. By the time collectors realized the significance of the 1920 with S dime, most were already lost to wear, melted down for their silver content, or simply disappeared from existence. That's why, when one turns up in beautiful fine condition, it feels like the discovery of buried treasure, a relic that has defeated time itself. The unique features of this coin are astonishing to the trained eye. The S mint mark beneath the wreath on the reverse instantly sets it apart. The crisp details of Liberty's cap and the facets still visible even in fine grade make it a rare survivor. The toning, the luster, the aura of nearly a century of history locked into one small piece of silver. It's no exaggeration to call this coin breathtaking. Collectors know that rarity is everything. And the 1920 with S Mercury dime in fine condition sits at the peak of rarity. Auction floors light up when one surfaces, and bidding wars turn into battles of pride and wealth. Why? Because this is not just another collectible, it is a status symbol, a key that unlocks respect in the world of serious numismatics. Now, let's reveal the truth that makes hearts pound and collectors lean forward in their seats. The 1920 with S Mercury dime in fine condition carries a market value today of $155,000. Yes, you heard that right. $155,000. This is not fantasy. This is the very real, very current price in today's auction market. A single dime, no bigger than the tip of your thumb, now worth a fortune that could change anyone's life overnight. And what makes it even more thrilling is this: its value is climbing. This isn't a coin whose story is fading. On the contrary, each year the demand grows, the surviving population shrinks, and the price skyrockets higher. It's a treasure that is appreciating day by day, an investment that feels less like collecting and more like holding a secret key to future wealth. For collectors watching right now, here's my tip. If fortune ever places a 1920 with S Mercury dime in front of you, never hesitate. Authenticate it, protect it, and cherish it. This is not a coin you flip for quick profit. It's one you guard like a family heirloom, one that passes down generations, building value and legend along the way. The 1920 with S Mercury dime is proof that true treasures are not always locked in chests beneath the sea. They can be hidden in the smallest, most overlooked places. And that, my friends, is why this coin has earned its place in our countdown of the top 5 ultra-rare and most valuable Mercury dimes. Coin number 3. Our countdown now takes us into the heart of one of the most turbulent times in modern history, the year 1943. The world was at war. Soldiers marched across continents, factories thundered with production, and every resource, metal, manpower, and money was directed toward victory. And yet, in the middle of this global storm, the United States Mint in Denver quietly struck a coin that today has become a rare beacon of history and fortune, the 1943 with D Mercury dime. On the surface, it may appear like just another wartime dime, but when you dive deeper, the true power of this coin is revealed. Crafted in 90% silver and 10% copper, its very existence during a time of rationing and sacrifice makes it symbolic. While soldiers carried rifles, families carried ration books, and industries carried the weight of the nation, this little dime carried something else, an unexpected legacy of wealth. The design, once again by Adolph A. Weinman, shines with timeless beauty. The obverse displays Liberty wearing her winged cap, symbolizing the freedom of thought, even when the world itself seemed shackled by conflict. On the reverse, the fasces and olive branch stand proudly, an emblem of both America's strength and its hope for peace beyond the battlefield. Now, what makes the 1943 with D so electrifying is its survival in collectible condition. Millions were struck, yes, but most were heavily circulated. Wartime coins were used relentlessly. They passed through the hands of soldiers' families, through factory workers, through children buying candy during blackouts. Few survived with sharp detail and preserved surfaces. And even fewer remain today in fine condition with that distinctive brown-toned shade, a patina earned through decades of history. This is where rarity meets destiny. Collectors know that a coin like this is more than silver. It is a witness to history. Owning a 1943 with D Mercury dime in fine preservation is like owning a piece of the Second World War itself. Every mark, every shade of toning whispers of a time when the world was changing forever. Auction houses know the power of this dime. When one surfaces, the bidding doesn't just start, it explodes. Collectors recognize that the 1943 with D Mercury dime is a trophy coin, a piece that adds weight, prestige, and value to any serious collection. And the demand? Unstoppable. People don't simply buy this coin, they fight for it. And now comes the revelation that turns a humble dime into a fortune. In today's auction market, the 1943 with Mercury dime in fine condition commands a jaw-dropping value of $115,000. Yes, 115,000 US dollars. And I assure you, this is the absolutely current value. This is not hype, not myth. This is the reality collectors live by today. Think about it. A coin once worth 10 cents during a world at war has transformed into a six-figure treasure, a symbol of survival, rarity, and unstoppable value. And here's the truth. Its price doesn't stand still. It grows. Year after year, this coin's value rises higher and higher, like a treasure vault that keeps filling itself. Those who own it today are sitting on a fortune that tomorrow will be even greater. For collectors, my tip is this. If you ever come across a 1943 with Mercury dime, do not underestimate it. Authenticate it, grade it, and preserve it with care. It is not just another wartime artifact, it is a treasure chest in miniature form. This is the kind of coin that doesn't just sit in a collection. It crowns it, it elevates it, and it guarantees that your collection carries true historical weight. The 1943 with Mercury dime is proof that sometimes history's darkest years leave behind its brightest treasures. And that, my friends, is why it secures its rightful place in the top 5 ultra-rare and most valuable Mercury dimes ever known. Coin number 4. Now we arrive at a coin that looks deceptively simple, almost ordinary at first glance. But in the world of rare coins, appearances can be deceiving, and what seems common at first can, under the right circumstances, reveal itself as a treasure beyond imagination. That is exactly the story of the 1941 Mercury dime without a mint mark, a coin that hides extraordinary value in plain sight. The year was 1941. America stood on the edge of transformation. The storm clouds of World War II had gathered overseas, and though the United States had not yet officially entered the war, the nation was preparing. Factories shifted to defense production. Citizens felt the rising tension, and life was charged with uncertainty. Yet, in the middle of this historic backdrop, the Philadelphia Mint struck dimes with the iconic design of Liberty in her winged cap, better known as the Mercury dime. Unlike its counterparts from Denver or San Francisco, this one bore no mint mark at all, a simple absence that today marks it as a key piece for collectors. Struck in 90% silver, this dime carried the nation's spirit of resilience. On the obverse, Weinman's design of Liberty, bold and radiant, symbolized freedom of thought and the courage of a people bracing for challenges yet to come. On the reverse, the fasces with its olive branch carried both strength and the hope for peace in a world inching closer to war. But here is where the story shifts from history to destiny. Millions of these dimes were minted, yes, but finding one in fine condition today is like discovering a diamond in a coal mine. Most were used relentlessly, passed from hand to hand during an era of rationing and preparation, until they were worn down to shadows of their former detail. But a coin that has survived 8 decades and still retains sharp features with that smooth, fine-grained charm, it is not just a coin, it is a survivor, a relic, a treasure. Collectors are drawn to the unique features of this piece. The sharp Liberty profile, the defined wings of the cap, the still legible fasces all combine to give it character and rarity. And because there is no mint mark, It carries a mystery, a purity, a sense of origin that collectors cherish. It is a coin that whispers its own story and demands respect in every collection it enters. When one of these appears at auction, the reaction is electric. The room goes silent, collectors lean in, and bidding begins with cautious respect. But as the numbers climb, the respect turns into a fierce battle of wills, because everyone knows what they are fighting for. A coin whose rarity, survival, and history combine to make it priceless in spirit and shockingly valuable in reality. And now comes the revelation, the truth that shocks even seasoned collectors. The 1941 Mercury dime without a mint mark in fine condition has a current market value of $118,000. Yes, 118,000 US dollars. This is not a dream, not a story, but the real current value today in the auction market. A dime once worth 10 cents transformed into a treasure chest worth a staggering 6 figures. And what makes it even more electrifying is this: its value is not staying still. It is rising day by day, year by year. Collectors and investors know that this is a coin of increasing demand and diminishing supply. Those who own it today are not just holding silver, they are holding wealth that grows, a fortune that appreciates, and a legacy that cannot be replaced. For collectors watching right now, here's my tip: never ignore the absence of a mint mark. What looks ordinary could be extraordinary. Always examine carefully, always preserve with care, and always remember, rarity lies in details. And when you hold a 1941 Mercury dime with no mint mark in fine condition, you are holding a treasure that proves sometimes the greatest value is hidden in simplicity. That is why the year 1941 no mint mark Mercury dime stands proudly in our countdown. It is more than a coin. It is history's secret treasure, waiting for those wise enough to see its true worth. Coin number 5. And now, we arrive at the climax of our journey, the coin that closes this legendary countdown with a thunderclap. A coin so rare, so historically powerful, and so overwhelmingly valuable that it feels less like currency and more like an ancient relic of treasure pulled from the vaults of time itself. I am talking about the 1918 Mercury dime without a mint mark. The year was 1918. Dime without a mint mark. The year was 1918. The Great War had just ended. Soldiers were returning home. America was transitioning into a new age, and the people longed for peace after years of struggle and sacrifice. In this very moment of history, the Philadelphia Mint struck dimes with the breathtaking Mercury design, coins that carried not just silver, but the hopes of a nation stepping into a new chapter. Adolph A. Weinman's design could not have been more symbolic. On the obverse, Liberty wears her winged cap, the wings representing freedom of thought, the ability to rise above conflict and fly into a brighter tomorrow. On the reverse, the fasces, bundled rods with an axe, proclaim unity and strength, while the olive branch whispers of peace. The 1918 Mercury dime embodies everything America stood for at that time: courage, unity, resilience, and hope. But here's the hidden truth. Most of these coins, struck at the Philadelphia Mint without a mint mark, were quickly swept into circulation. They bought food for families, paid for train rides, and passed through countless hands during one of the most critical turning points in American history. Because of this, few survived the passage of more than a century in fine condition. And among those survivors, the ones carrying that mysterious black shade patina, the dark toning that comes only with time and natural preservation, are considered beyond extraordinary. Collectors instantly recognize the aura of this coin. Its unique features, the sharp Liberty profile still visible, the wings of the cap detailed even after 100 years, the facets standing proud on the reverse, and that dark, almost haunting toning make it a piece that commands both respect and obsession. This isn't just a dime. It is a relic, a survivor, a one-of-a-kind treasure that the market cannot get enough of. When a 1918 no-mint Mercury dime in fine condition appears in the auction world, the atmosphere changes. The room grows tense, collectors lean forward, and the bidding begins like a storm. Each increment isn't just a number. It's a declaration of how far someone is willing to go for a piece of history that most people will never even see in their lifetime. And make no mistake, the battle is fierce because everyone knows what's at stake. The chance to own a fortune locked inside a coin no bigger than your fingertip. And now, the moment of revelation. This legendary coin is currently valued in today's auction market at $168,000. Yes, 168,000 US dollars. I am telling you the truth. This is the absolutely current price right now. A coin that once bought a few groceries during the end of World War I has transformed into a six-figure treasure, a life-changing fortune, a legacy in pure silver. But here's the most electrifying part. Its value doesn't end here. This coin is climbing in worth every single year. It is an appreciating treasure, a coin that grows richer with time. Owners of this dime are not holding just money. They are holding a vault, a future, a fortune that expands like a living treasure chest. This is not fiction, this is reality. For collectors, here is my heartfelt advice. If destiny ever places a 1918 no-mint Mercury dime in your path, guard it like gold. Authenticate it, preserve it, cherish it. This is the kind of coin that defines collections, that cements reputations, that passes through generations as both a treasure and a legacy. And that, my friends, is why the 1918 Mercury dime without mint mark takes the throne in our countdown of the top 5 ultra-rare and most valuable Mercury dimes. It is more than a coin. It is a time capsule, a treasure chest, and a six-figure fortune wrapped in silver.